Welcome to the continuation of the Day 6 curriculum, and this is a part of Robotics for All's LEGO Robotics curriculum. As with all videos in the past, feel free to pause this video at any time if you need a little bit of extra time to finish a step, and then you may resume when you go on. So, you should have just completed some of the challenges in today's challenge, and this video is going to briefly go over the solutions to the challenges, and I'd like you to keep in mind that for some of these challenges, there are multiple ways to solve it. There's not one set solution. So while the solution might be going over here is correct, there might be another solution that's also correct. So by all means, if you found another way to successfully complete the challenge, that's wonderful. So the format of this video is I'm going to briefly read over the challenge, then I'm going to explain how I would approach it, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to solve it. So challenge 1 is your robot should start at the green tape, follow the blue tape, then stop at the red tape. So there's kind of 3 parts of this, and the first part is start at the green tape. Well, that only tells you where it should start. That's kind of there to confuse you. You don't really need to program anything. You're just telling you where you should place the robot before you start. It's just place it at the green tape, and then that's really not much to program. Now the second part is very important. It says follow the blue tape. So when I hear those words, follow the blue tape, the immediate thing that comes to mind is line follower. So we know there must be a line follower here. And then the last part is stop at the red tape. So I know we've been using forever loops a lot for line follower programs in the past, but when it says stop at the red tape, this means that it must continue the line follower program until a condition has been met. So this must be a center controlled loop block. And that might be a little bit kind of off of your head right now, but I'm going to explain it. It might make more sense later on when I go into more detail about this program here. So let's go into LEGO Mindstorm's EV3 software. And because I know that this is going to be 2 parts, I need a line follower and I need a loop that is going to be controlled by sensor. I need to start with a loop. And the reason why we start with a loop is because it's usually on the outside, and it's usually easier to program outside in. So I mentioned before that this is not a forever loop because it's not going to be following the line forever. It's going to be following the line until a certain condition is met. And that condition needs to be met is the color sensor sees red. So to do that, we go here and then we select color sensor color and red. Perfect. So this is done in terms of forever loop. Now we just need to program the line follower, and the line follower is exactly what you did in the last program. It requires a switch, and I'm not going to explain this too much in detail because I just explained it in the previous video. So you're going to go color sensor, compare color, and we want it blue because the tape is blue. And what it's going to do is, if it sees blue, we want it to turn one direction until it doesn't see blue. So I'm going to use 2 singular motor blocks here. And for if it sees blue, I want it to turn off motor B and turn on motor C. This is effectively turning off one motor, turning on the other. So it's turning away from the blue line. And then the moment it doesn't see blue, I want it to do quite the opposite. So you can really just copy and paste those 2. And you just need to switch the motor, so we know it's the other motor turning on, so it's turning in the other direction. So it's going to turn one way, and then it's going to turn the other way if it doesn't see it. So let's look at this program. Well, this might seem almost done, but there's only one more thing. Right now the motors are still turning, but we want it to stop. And I know this is a little confusing because it just seems something that's not really important, but it is very important. You need to tell your motors to turn off, and the way you do that, you can use a move tank block and you just turn off. Simple like that. And there is another way to do this. You could individually turn each of the motors off and make sure you switch the port. So that's this also works just as well, but obviously I prefer just this because it's 1 block versus 2, and it does the exact same thing. You're just turning off each of the motors so that it stops. Because otherwise, if you don't do this, the robot might continue running after it sees red. It says leave the forever loop when it sees red. What else does it do? Well, it needs to stop. So that's a big part of this. So this is challenge 1. We just hope this solution made sense. Let's go on to the next challenge. I'm going to delete this, and now go back to my slides over here, and I'm going to read challenge 2. Your robot should start at the green tape, follow the blue tape, stop at the red tape, and grab the tire. So I want you to think about what is different from this program as the last program. The only thing that's different is grab the tire. The entire first 3 instructions are the exact same. So you actually did not need to delete anything from back here. But for purposes, I'm just going to redo it. We need a loop because we want it to leave the loop when it sees the color red, and we need a line follower program in here. And I'm not going to explain this anymore. You should rewatch the previous videos if you still need understanding of the line follower program. So I'm going to just quickly color this, and this is going to be color blue. And I'm going to input my motors here. I want B to be off in the top, and I want C to be on. And then on the bottom, and I need to change this to C. I can just copy and paste that. Not that part, just this. And I want C to be off here. And I want B to be on. So C to be off. Okay, so I'm just basically redoing what the last program was, and that was the first 3 steps. Your robot should start at the green tape, follow the blue tape, and stop at the red tape. Now the last part is just one block. Grab the tire. And to do that, we need to use our medium motor. And this is also a block you learned earlier today, the medium motor block. You put it right here, and we want it to be on for rotations. And I told you earlier that in order to fully close, it needs to be 0.15 rotations. And this is it. So really, the only difference between this program and the last program we did is just the addition of this block. So the next program actually also depends on all this, so I'm actually not going to delete this for now, so I don't have to remake it again. But this is challenge 2. So challenge 3, the robot should do everything in challenge 2. So what it says is, do not delete this, do not delete this. This is exactly the same. But proceed to turn around, follow the blue tape back to the start, and then stop at the yellow tape. And if the tire falls off, that's alright. It just needs to be picked up momentarily. So I like to think of this as 2 parts again. So it says proceed to turn around. This is the first part. The robot first needs to turn around completely. And then if you look at the next part, it's almost the exact same as challenge 1. Follow the blue tape, except this time to the start and not this time to the tire, and then stop at the yellow tape. The only difference is that it's stopping at 1, the yellow tape, and it's actually going to follow the blue tape back to the start and not to the tape. So let's go into the programming right here and proceed to turn around. So that's the first step. We first need this robot to turn around. And to do that, we need to use a move tank block. And I'm sure you've done this plenty of times in the past already. If you want to turn around, you need to go minus 50 power on this side and positive 50 power on the other side. So one motor is turning backward, the other motor is turning forward. And if you want to make this one 50 and this one minus 50, that's okay. It's making a full 180 degree turn backwards. So it doesn't matter which one goes forward, which one goes backward. And to turn the robot 180 degrees, a full turn backward is around 2.9 rotations. And that just took a little bit of guess and check there. So now we have the robot turned around. And I'm going to cheat a little bit on the next part because it's almost the exact same as this part, right? It says follow the blue tape back to the start, then stop at the yellow tape. It's almost the exact same thing as follow the blue tape and stop at the red tape. The only difference is the color of the tape. So you still need your line follower program. You still need your sensor controlled loop block. It's just a different color. So we could cheat. We can just copy that, Command C or Control C, Alt C, whatever computer you're using, and then Command V it, and then drag the whole thing over here. And I know this was kind of reverse order. We still need to make sure that make sure to place it in the right place. You see there, I accidentally placed it before turning around, but we want to make sure the turning around is right there. So, like I said, the only difference is the color. So the color of the tape this time is yellow and not red. So that's it. But there's still one more thing, just like the last one. We need the motors to stop. And I can just copy and paste that, because we want it to stop. We don't want it to continue going. So this is also a pretty important part. And let's just make sure to place it at the end and place it outside of the... Whoops, that did not go. We want to make sure to place it outside of the forever loop. Otherwise, it's not going to work. We're going to place it right here. And now look at that. It seems really complex, but it's really just a lot of copy and paste. It's just a very similar concept. So you have the robot following the blue line in this portion right here, and then it's going to follow the blue line until it sees red. And then once it sees red, it's going to stop, and it's going to pick up the tire, and it's going to turn around, and then it's going to line follow until it sees the yellow tape, and then it's going to stop. So we hope that made sense to you, and we hope you enjoyed this challenge. Thank you for listening. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.